So we're about to go through the Gibson Island gate. So we're through the gate, and we see the Chesapeake Bay on our left, the Gibson Island Harbor on our right, and the first thing we come to, driving down the causeway, again, beautiful scenery on both sides. The first thing we come to is gravel parking spaces. 2 there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 20 some odd there on both sides. Then we have the Yacht Squadron and the Boathouse, all with their non-compliant ADA, less than $100 a piece. They don't even have one over there. This is the health club, by the way. Ramps, and of course there's no compliance inside as far as showers and what they have. And then of course you have these signs that are not 5 feet to the bottom. It says handicap parking only, and of course it's deep gravel. We have 2 of those, and then it's a terrible swale to get back. But again, so additional parking for about 40 cars here, surrounded by scenery, but parking is something, there's no bus, there's no rail line to Gibson Island, so you need cars. So as we're driving around, driving down the causeway, you actually can see, as you start to look up, you see Henry Hopkins' house, and you see his parking. It's on the golf course. It's the largest house on the island. You can't quite see Banbury House, but this is from the causeway. We haven't even turned the corner. So we're driving down the causeway again. There's the Bay Bridge. It's beautiful. There's wildlife, there's nests up there. But as we come around here, you see Henry Hopkins, and you see a van doing mechanical work parked by his house, right out in the open. Now you do see Banbury House, but you see no parking out front. One of the many contractors leaving the island. So again, as you're looking up the hill, you start to see part of the golf course. Now you can either drive to Skipper's Row to the boatyard, or you can drive up the hill. You see Banbury House. Again, you don't see any parking. There's a car parked there, but you don't see any parking if someone was parked out front. So we'll drive up the hill, but as we drive around to toward the club, we see the golf course, and this is now where the majority of the cars drive, because it's going toward the club. And the first thing you see on your left, so you have a beautiful golf course, driving range on your right, and on your left, what do you see? You see the church with its 22 parking spaces right out in front of the church. And of course there's the tent. There's a trailer now parked there for some reason. Just storage. So storage of a trailer at the church. It's used by the club, as it's stated in the architectural report, it's used by the club all the time for club parking employees during the week. So on the next property, again, you see their driveway and parking area, and it's just haphazard. This is a property which Gibson Island Corporation considers a problem. She's a much older lady. She's got a sea carton there and a bunch of junk. It's actually sold to her brother, but that ivy thing right there is actually a sea carton. And a lot of junk there, but her deeds don't say she has to move it. Again, driveway and parking out front. Driveway and parking out front. Garage out front. Driveway, cobblestone driveway, and parking out front. A little hidden, but not like ours. Driveway and parking out front, all out front. And now we're coming to the club and the corporation. And we've got golf cart parking only. This is down to the Gibson house, deep gravel, and down to the disabled access. It's all stone. You can't access it. This is how you come up on the club. The first thing you see is a huge parking area. And then you see a huge driveway, and the club is behind. All the parking and all the driveway and everything is right out front. Not hidden from anybody. Right by the golf course. Right by the practice green. Right where your first impression is. And that's, for some reason, okay on the golf course. Again, the parking is all over, and it's not a problem. And then you have, coming up on the U.S. Post Office, there's the real estate office with the walkway that's too steep and the 2 steps. There's parking here for the post office. United States Post Office with the ramp that's too steep. You have parking and trash. There's a wall, but ours is hidden behind a building. Parking and trash. Now here's more parking, and again, you drive by this parking lot. This goes back around. There's parking by the tennis courts. Parking by the all-purpose court. Parking by the tennis courts up above, by the paddle tennis courts. So there's a massive amount of parking that's all exposed, all seen by golfers all the time, but somehow it's only a problem for a group home. Here we're going by the real estate office. If you're disabled, the only way to get into this building is go through that door and then go through the back behind the counter. They refuse to make this ramp and these 2 steps. That step and step inside, or that step over there to real estate office. They've refused to make those, and actually ADA compliant. And actually they spent some money on paint, but of course there are no signs, and you have to go across gravel. Again, massive parking area. Let's go up and look at the fact that you can't see the parking in front of Banbury, but you can at Mr. Hopkins' house, and that's somehow okay. So we're going up the hill. Henry's house. Can't see any parking over there, but I see vans and trucks at Henry's. Now you can see the parking. Okay, so now we're driving by. You see nothing at Banbury House. What do I see here? I see 1 truck, 1 van, 1, 2, 3 cars, and 3 golf carts, and another car over there. And so far I can't see anything at Banbury. Now I can see down the driveway. Now we come to Cabby's house, and again, all his parking and garage is right out front. No cars there today. There is a car here. Henry's other parking. Oh, and then this is a caregiver for Henry's house. So, because they have vans, it's okay for them to park on, this is corporation land. This is not Henry's land. This is corporation land. So it's okay to park on corporation land when Henry's house has contractors that come to it. But not okay for a group home for the disabled, supposedly. So as we're driving down the causeway, we look up, and obviously we start to see some of the golf course, and right now we can see a truck park right there by Henry's property, and you see no cars, Banbury House. Even though there's cars parked out front, there is a car parked out front. So Keep driving down the causeway. Now we can see the whole truck parked at Henry's house right on the golf course. There are golfers out there this morning. And there's a car parked out in front of Banbury House. And no issues. So as we, again, beautiful bay scenery. So a ship out there. As we turn the corner, look up the hill, you see no parking. You see trees blocking Henry's parking. 348,000 cars do this every year. So 3 ways to go: to the clubhouse, straight up to Banbury, or to Skipper's Row, which is the yacht yard. So right now you see no parking. Let's drive up the hill. We already drove to the club. So driving up the hill, we start to see that van. We see nothing at Banbury. Driving up the hill, we see nothing at Banbury. And of course we see the parking out in front of Mr. Hopkins' house, because that's where it is, and you see people there. Nothing at Banbury. Still nothing at Banbury. Mr. Hopkins' house. Nothing at Banbury. Nothing at Banbury. There's cars parked out in front of Banbury, but you don't see anything. But you obviously see it at Mr. Hopkins' house. Nothing at Banbury, but let's see if there actually are cars. There's a car up here. No, I don't see any cars. Oh, there's a car. It's parked and it's hidden right by the entrance ramp. And of course we see workers, trucks, vans, multiple cars over at Mr. Hopkins, and actually he's got plenty of room where they're standing, plenty of room on the other side, but he's chosen to park on corporation land. So why can't we do that? We'll back up and see where Mr. Hopkins is parked. They're there. Contractors. We see nothing at Banbury. Nothing at Banbury but green. Mr. Hopkins, all his cars, 1, 2, 3. 3 golf carts, 2 trucks. Another car parked over here on his property. Nothing at Banbury. Now we can actually see down the driveway, see these top 3 spaces with the disabled space. But that's just that small sliver of space. Now we're still seeing Mr. Hopkins has much space to park other cars there. This is Cabby, the next door neighbor. He's not here, but his garage is out front. And his gravel parking's out front. Now this is a Mercedes parked. You can fit 2 cars in there easily. It's wide enough for 2 cars. This Mercedes parked in the middle for some reason. You could actually stack 4 cars in there. It's got a Landon sticker on the back. But Mr. Hopkins has caregivers for his mother and his aunt. The caregiver's car is parked over here. This is corporation property. This is the golf course. Now, why is this okay for this car to park here for the Hopkins, and it's not okay? It may just be someone else's car. It may not be the caregivers, but there are caregivers there. Why is that okay to park there on the corporation land? And on our land, Bill says we can't park there. Corporation says we can't park there. We're driving back on Skipper's Row, and there's a car parked right at that house by the golf course. It's right where they tee off. In fact, you almost look like you're teeing off beside that car. Right there. And there's parking right there, employee parking. There's your tee off, and there's parking. Doesn't seem to be a problem. Not hidden at all. This may not be a caregiver, it may just be a visitor. But we would have visitors, we hope. Why is it okay for this visitor to park on corporation to visit a home, and it's not okay for this visitor to park on corporation land to visit a group home for the disabled?